And we're back. When a cardiac arrest occurs outside the hospital, it's important for bystanders to perform effective CPR as soon as possible. But that doesn't always happen. A new study examined whether providing CPR instruction over the phone with help from trained 911 dispatchers would improve survival rates for people who experienced cardiac arrest.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
Dentist Tim Gailey began his day like any other, seeing patients.
I sat down and that was the last thing I remembered. I just collapsed.
Dr. Gailey experienced a cardiac arrest. With the 911 dispatcher on the phone, his staff began CPR.
I'm so grateful that I had 911 and someone helping direct me.
People don't always think about 911 dispatchers as the first medical responders, but they really are. It turns out that they really have this enormous life-saving potential.
Are the paramedics there?
Many 911 dispatchers already offer CPR instruction over the phone, but Dr. Ben Bobrow from the Arizona Department of Health Services and co-authors provided additional training to 911 dispatchers in 2 regional centers in the Phoenix metropolitan area. The dispatchers were trained to be more confident and assertive with the rescuers on the phone. They measured outcomes for more than 2,300 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests during a 3-year period.
Training them to say, you need to do chest compressions. I'm going to help you. Let's start. We've actually found that subtle thing is very important in motivating lay rescuers.
We have to use a very strict tone of voice too to kind of get them to listen to us and pull all that chaoticness away from them.
Our dispatchers did well. They gave telephone CPR instructions significantly more often. They got the first chest compression started much sooner. We found a 32% relative increase in the proportion of patients that survived a hospital discharge, so they went home from the hospital, and remarkably, a 43% relative increase in functional outcome, which means patients that actually went back home in good shape.
That's exactly what happened to Dr. Gailey, a husband and father of 13. Thanks to everyone working together, he survived.
I was just praying that he would be okay, thinking about his children, and I would do the right things that he needed.
I just remember giving them hugs and crying and telling them how grateful I was that they saved my life and how grateful my family was to them for saving me.
Catherine Dolf, The JAMA Report.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Bystander CPR has been shown to double or even triple survival from out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. 28-year-old Matthew Benner from North Carolina was arrested in town for murder. Early this morning, Nye County Sheriff's Office dispatch was advised of a wanted murder suspect who was believed to be in our area. Benner was wanted for the murder of a woman in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department was actively tracking the individual, and the cell phone GPS signal had come to a stop in Pahrump, near Highway 372 and Highways 160. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to the area and were able to locate Benner's vehicle parked at the Best Western. During the investigation, it was discovered that at approximately 4 o'clock this morning, Benner had gone into the Best Western asking to use the bathroom. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies located Benner asleep inside his vehicle, and he was taken into custody without incident. An interview was conducted and a confession obtained from Benner. Pierce Bornick was arrested after a Nye County Sheriff's Office officer noticed him looking into a duplex apartment window on Sycamore Avenue. The officer later noticed that the screen to the window that Bornick was standing at had been removed. When the suspect saw the officer, Bornick allegedly tried to get away by jumping over a 4-foot fence, then running away. The uniformed officer chased the suspect, but Bornick allegedly ignored commands to stop. After looking back at the officer who was still in pursuit, Bornick finally surrendered peacefully by lying face down with his arms above his head when he reached the front yard of the home on Galaxy Street. Bornick was booked on charges of attempted burglary and obstruction of a police officer. Well, residents should be receiving a letter in their mailbox from the Valley Electric Association concerning a proposed rate increase.
There hasn't been a rate increase since 2010, so this is the first increase in 6.5 years.
You had an outside agency look into what should be done. Tell me about that.
Well, the agency is Black & Veatch. It's a consulting firm out of Kansas City, a well-respected firm that works with power companies, and they assessed the rates and the cost of delivering power to all across the rate structure.
And so we kind of have a lot of investments that Valley Electric's been making, including community solar, fiber optics, broadband. Is this to help pay for those, or if those produce income, will there be a decrease?
No, this is not about broadband, or this is all about power. And as I said, for the last 6.5 years, been able to get by with no increase, basically because they've been able to increase revenue through a couple of different ways, and also hold the line on expenses throughout that time.
So what are you hearing from the members at this point?
Well, I guess we're going to be hearing from them today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, as well as next week, because we'll be up in Amargosa Valley. As soon as I'm done with this interview, I'll be driving up there. But there'll be other people up there. We're having open houses in Amargosa Valley, Pahrump, both 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then next week in Fish Lake Valley and Sandy Valley.
So if people want to attend these meetings to get their questions answered, how can they do that?
They just show up. The locations have been published. They got a letter that shows exactly where those meetings are. They can go to any meeting that they would like to, but of course we're trying to bring the meetings as close to them as we can.
For Pahrump, when is that one?
I believe it's tomorrow and Wednesday, and it's here at Valley Electric.
All right, and then you on the 23rd will decide if you're going to take the 9%, or there might be a variation, right?
Well, I'm not sure. That's up to the board of directors. The recommendation from Black & Veatch is 9.9%. And again, what they did was they assessed the cost of delivering power across all of the different rate classes that Valley Electric has, and they made recommendations. It's a 9.9 general average rate increase. It's a little bit higher or lower depending on the class that we're talking about.
More local news after the break.